I'm your host, Sean MacKenzie. Thank you for joining me once again on my channel on data engineering and data analytics. In this episode, we're going to return to our data engineering playlist, and we're going to talk about the lag and lead functions in SQL Server. Now, these functions are very handy for the cases when you need to grab a value from the next row in your data set or the previous row in your data set. And this can be very handy for things like, production scheduling or any kind of stuff like that, or comparing periods and all kinds of other stuff. And so without further ado, let's get to our lead and lag functions in SQL Server. Okay, so I'm using the AdventureWorks database, which you can get for SQL Server, and I think you can get for Microsoft Access too, but in this case I've loaded it into SQL Server, and this is a SQL Server Management Studio that I'm working in here. And as you can see, there's a table that I got, and it's got all kinds of information about orders on it. And what we're going to look at today, in order to demonstrate the lead and lag functions, I'm going to use the sales order ID for ordering. I'll use the online order flag as a sort of category. And we're going to look at the sales and purchase order numbers. And we're going to pretend that it's some kind of workflow where somebody needs to know, what the purchase order is in order to either do picking from shelves or something like that. I don't know. But definitely you'll be able to see it in this demonstration. The idea is to demonstrate the lead and lag functions so that we're going to grab values from the next row and the previous row when we display each row in our query. And so what I'll do here is I'm just going to select from that sales order header, and I'll say online order flag and then the sales order number, and then I'll grab the purchase order number as well, just to give a sort of concise view of what we're going to look at for our demonstration. And so there we go. We've got three columns. We've got the online purchase order and or online order flag. And now note that I did change this to some of them to 1 because all of the online order flags were set to 0. So I made some of those online orders just so that we can do a category or use a categorical variable here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add to our query is we're going to look at the order number, the previous order number in the sequence. And so in order to do that, we'll say we'll use the lag function. We'll put purchase order number, and we'll specify a 1 for go back one row. And then if there's nothing there, then say none. And you have to specify an over clause when you use the lag function. And so we'll put order by sales ID. This is going to be the basic one. You'll see how to do categories in a minute, so make sure you watch till the end of the video. So here we go. We've got now by sales order ID, and we'll call that last PO. And so now you can see the very first row doesn't have a previous row, so it says none. And you can see that this, each row here, that's the purchase order, but it has the previous purchase order on the same row. And we can do the same thing for this purchase order. We can see that the 051 is the previous purchase order number, and et cetera, all the way till the end, where we've got a purchase order for each of those. There's a previous order for the last one, and so that's added that to our list. And so I don't know, maybe you've got a working workflow where you need to see the previous order, but maybe you need to see the next order too, so you can prepare for the next purchase order. And so we'll do the same thing, but we'll use the lead function, and the lead function works exactly the same way. We'll go forward one row, we'll say none if there isn't a next one, and we'll call that next PO. And so now we can see, we've got our purchase order for this row with a sales order that, say a stock picker is working with, and then now they can see the next purchase order as well. So maybe as they go to pick stock, they know that some important thing that they need is, there for the next one, so they can save a trip or whatever. So now you can see that the next purchase order has been added to the same line. And when we get to the end of our list here, then obviously there isn't a next order for the last row. So that works great for the entire list, but what if we wanted to, separate these, and maybe there's two teams of people. There's one team that picks for the online orders and one that picks for when it's not an online order. And so we want to show how that'll work in that case when we have a categorical variable, kind of like that one. So we only want the next order for the same type. We only want the next online order, purchase order. We don't want to see them mixed up. So in order to do that, we can do that using partition by, and in this case we'll do partition by online order flag, and we'll leave our order by in there. So as you can see, here's our partition by clause. It's gonna separate those by their group, and now you can see all the online orders are all together in the list, and you can see that now it's only grabbing the next and previous for online orders or offline orders, in this case offline orders, and there's the online orders with one in the online order flag field. And you can see that now we can see that we can grab the next and previous according to the grouping, which is exactly what we wanted to see. So there's the previous one for that one, and it's an offline order, and that's sort of how that works. Now you can also change the argument to jump 2 records ahead or 2 records behind, and you can just do that by specifying it here. So you could actually have several fields saying the next order and then the next order or something like that, and you can do that just by changing the argument in the function. And so you can see here it gives a none because there's only 2 rows before where there's more than 2 rows, and you can see that pattern is repeated here in the output. And that is how you use lead and lag functions in SQL Server. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion on how to use the lead and lag functions in SQL Server. If you like what you saw today, please give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and when you see the bell, click the bell. And if you have any questions or comments, please put those in the comment section below. Have a great day, have a safe day, and I'll catch you next time.